Welcome to Scorched. This is going to be a general reading for the month of May for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon and Ascendant. If you don't know what your Moon or Ascendant signs are, have a look in the description box down there. I'll put a link in there that will help you get your full natal chart for free, and then you'll be able to see what people are blathering on about when they talk about your Moon and Ascendant and your Venus and your Mars and all that kind of thing. It's actually intriguing. That absolutely blew my mind when I did mine the first time, because it was just me. All of it was me. It described me perfectly. So there's the thing. My books are open for personal readings again now, so if you're interested in booking one, the link is also down in the description. It's a scheduling link down there. So all automated now, makes it nice and easy. I'm just keeping the email for people getting in touch for various things, but try not to use that for booking readings unless you absolutely have to. So thank you if you have already booked a reading and you're one of those people who got hit with the teething problems that I had initially. Thank you so much for being patient with me while I sorted that out. I really appreciate it. And thank you as ever for the comments and likes and shares and subscribes and the donations, and I could barely get that word out there, donations, and all the ways in which you support me. I really appreciate it. If you were on the live stream, also thank you. That was so much fun. I'm definitely going to be doing it again, but I'll give you more notice next time, because I know a lot of people didn't see that it was happening. I only did it like 4 hours in advance or something like that, so keep your eyes peeled. Right, I've been super excited about doing your reading, Leo. Oh, and I'm just getting goosebumps as I say that. I've just done a pre-meditation, which I do for all of the readings before I start, and I got some very interesting sensations there. I actually felt kind of like I was pulling out of my body with that. There was a definite lifting, kind of ascending feel, and given the reading that you had, the last one, like it seemed pretty on point as a feeling. So let's get some cards out for Leo for May. What Leo needs to know for May, please. Right, first card out is Strength. Hello, Leo. Love it. Second card out is the Two of Earth. That's the Two of Pentacles in the standard deck there. That's your current energy. So these will work together, and we'll get one more for what's coming towards you in May. What's coming towards Leo in May, please. Oh. The Nine of Pentacles. This is interesting. It's quite an earthy spread. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the Hermit. That's the card of Virgo, but it talks about going within, and I feel like Leos have been doing this a lot recently. It's becoming easier for Leos to go within than perhaps it has been at any other point before. There's a sense of becoming much more comfortable with your energy, and the good bits and the bad bits of yourself. Shadow integration, perhaps, but certainly a sense of wholeness and a sense of completion, or completeness rather, which we are then turning around and bringing out into the world. I really like it very much. So let's work out which deck I want to use for. Yeah, I thought it might be this one. It's interesting. This is the Wildwood Tarot, and I've never used it on YouTube. It is literally just sat on the corner of my table for months and months, and then all of a sudden yesterday it just popped out and went, hello, you need to use me for all the readings this month. So I was like, well, all right then. See if I can stop throwing it on the floor, that would be useful. So we'll just get some clarifiers for these main cards, and we'll take it from there. So why is Strength here for Leo, if I even really need to ask? Why is Strength here for Leo? We've got the Three of Swords, but it's come out in reverse, and I really like that. Where's Strength here? Ooh, I'm going to take all of those. Do you know what? I will. We've got the Queen of Bows and the Knight of Bows, which is the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands, respectively. I like that. Why is the Two of Earth here? is the one like, oh, got the Knight of Vessels, or the Knight of Cups. Who did that come out for yesterday? Cancer, I think. There's the two over there. Got two there, mint. We've got the Two of Bows, which is the Two of Wands, and the Stag, which is strength in the Stag. Right. Double strengthen, like it. Why is the Nine of Earth here for Leo? What's the Nine of Earth here for Leo? Got the Four of Arrows, Four of Swords. Away cards, come on. Why is this here for Leo? Oh, 3 cards. Right, you know what, we're going to take it anyway. That's interesting. So, we've got the Blasted Oak, which is the Tower. We've got the Fool, which is the Wanderer in this deck, and the Six of Bows, which is the Six of Wands and the card of Leo. Quite interesting. I'll take all of that. This looks really positive. At the bottom of the deck we've got the Mirror, which is the Hanged Man, which is very interesting. I love the fact, before I go any further, she's literally holding the moon in her hand there. Right? What was I just saying about shadow work, right? It's like you kind of integrated your whole, because you've got hold of the moon, the things that are hidden, right? And you kind of like, I fucking got this. I know what this is all about now. I am integrating on a really fundamental level. Ooh, how exciting. Right. Got loads of cards out here, so let's get through them. So, first card that you've got is Strength, and obviously that is the card of Leo, and this is in your recent past, right? I just love this card because it's so... I mean, obviously it's the Leo card, so I love it. But this particular depiction of strength is so vital, you know? It's like this woman standing on a rock and she's just like here and ready. And it's just like this swirling cosmological force in front of her. I feel like this might have been the exact card, you know, from the exact deck that came up for you last month. But look at that. Look at that power there, right? I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like everything's made sense, finally, because of this integration work that you've done, because of this self-awareness that you've developed, you know, not just of understanding all of the things that have come together to create who you are right now, right? But it's kind of seeing all the ways in which you struggled and all the ways in which you've suffered. The point of it all has kind of been revealed to you. You know, you now feel it on an instinctive level, and there's almost a sense of gratitude and appreciation for the things that you've gone through because of the feeling of power that you have right now. It's just like you can literally stand, you know, on a mountaintop and shout down, you know, some force to come and talk to you. I've got something to fucking say. Come here, let me say it to you, you know, or if you want to fight, I'm probably going to do that too. The first card that you've got to clarify, right, is the Three of Arrows, right? This way around it talks about a broken heart, right? You can sometimes talk about third-party situations, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention that. And I feel like all of us at some point have probably experienced that as a thing, and it's wounding, you know? But there are lots and lots of things that can wound a heart. And I'm really interested, because I haven't used this deck much on YouTube. Like, a lot of these pictures are very fresh to me, these images and the symbolism and stuff. And I don't remember having seen this before. But it's the 3 arrows in a wooden heart, right? And the wooden heart is bleeding, but it's also on fire. Look at that, right? If that's not a Leo heart, I don't know what is. It talks about a broken heart, right? It talks about things that hurt us, and they don't have to be the single action of a person, right? Finding out that someone's cheated on you or someone's lied to you, or someone, you know, sometimes that wounding can occur very slowly over, you know, like death by 1,000 cuts, or boiling a lobster. And we put it in cold water and warm it up. No, is it lobsters or frogs? Something like that. I might not even be a real thing, but the analogy works. You know, it's like if you jumped into, you know, something boiling, if something sudden had happened, you just fucking leap straight back out again. But because it happened slowly and over the course of quite a long time, you know, you just adapted to it bit by bit by bit by bit until you hit the point where you went, oh, hang on, I'm literally sat in boiling water here. Right? My skin's going to slough off in a minute if I don't do something about this. And it was hard, but you did it. And I'm overjoyed to see this come out this way round, because it's a sense of moving away from that energy, or even just incorporating it for what it is and accepting that it was a lesson that was difficult and hard learned, but ultimately bestowed the gift of wisdom upon you, right? Experience makes, you know, good teachers of us all. And this is, I don't think that you can speak with any kind of authority on anything unless you've experienced it yourself. And this feels like Leos have experienced this themselves. But rather than rolling around in it, right, we're taking it on board for what it is, and that is a lesson, you know, and stronger as a result. Now, the other two cards that jumped out together were the Queen of Bows and the Knight of Bows, right? The Wand suit. We're talking about more fire. Now, this strictly is Aries, and this strictly is Sagittarius. So if you've had if you've had those signs around you, then all's the good. But I think this is a kind of energetic thing, right? Not only are they your sister fire signs, so, you know, they feed your fire quite often. But I have absolutely no issue at all in interpreting this to be Leo energy also, because it's fire, right? It's just different aspects of fire energy. And what I find really interesting here is that we've got that fucking moon in the background again there, right? There it is. It's like all the hidden stuff, all the dark stuff, like Leos have pulled it out and looked at it, stopped it from having its efficacy at steering your ship, right? You are in total control now. There's a fab little fox here, look at that. Just screwing its face up at you, right? These two, I think, are feeding into a new fire that you feel, right? We've got this Sagittarian Knight of Bows energy, which is very spontaneous, and it's very much living in the moment. Yeah? As fixed signs, sometimes we struggle with living in the moment a little bit. Okay? We're the most movable of the fixed signs. I think we deal with change better than most, but at the same time, it's still a little uncomfortable. But because we've done all of this work and we are no longer living in the past, or, you know, placing all our store in the future and just this blind hope that things will get better, and kind of pulling it all back to now, it's liberated us a little bit. We are now moving a little bit easier. We're going with the flow instead of fighting the universe as we have done for so many years before, you know. And it like I said, it's been a difficult lesson. It's been a hard one to learn, but ultimately we've fucking got there, and now we own it, right? Fucking owning it right here. That's really cool. So then we come to the Two of Earth, right? And this is an interesting card to come out in your present energy, because it's about balance primarily. But as a Pentacle card, it's about balance of resources. Now, we've got all this, had this big power up, like Leo is on fire right now, but in the best possible way, you know. If you had a Scorpio on fire, that would probably be pretty awful. Capricorn on fire, not great. But Leo's on fire is where we're supposed to be, right? So you've had this big power up, but now we're into a card that talks more about, you know, the kind of day-to-day practical stuff. And it's about balance. It's about juggling those responsibilities and those duties and all that kind of thing with everything else. And it's almost like, it kind of feels like an assimilation, because there's been so much spiritual work done by Leos, right? We kind of, like, we get it now. We have to temper that with the fact that we are souls living a human experience. We are 3D bodies, right? That meditation that I did prior to the reading, where I kind of felt like I was lifting out, like, it actually made me feel quite nauseous. And there's that discrepancy between the higher self and the physical meat sack that you're sat in at the moment, right? Like, you cannot really be one or the other. You need to find a way to assimilate the two, and it feels very strongly like that's kind of where your energy's at the moment. You're trying to balance it out, because you cannot go too far one way or the other without affecting the other side of it, you know? But we've got more foxes here, just as we have with the Knight of Bows there. Except these two seem like they've spotted something in the undergrowth. And it's sort of like you're looking for the ways in which you can express your now fundamental, very strong power out in the 3D in front of you. And then we had, right, I'll deal with them in the way that they came out. We had the Knight of Vessels. And this to me is speaking of this emotional work that we've done, because you see how we've got this eel here. I said it came out for Cancer yesterday. We've got this eel kind of manoeuvring along in the water, and, you know, for all it doesn't have any limbs, it's basically a massive mussel with a face on it, right? Well, it's just swimming through the water, but it's managing to swim through what looks to be, you know, quite deep water, possibly holding lots of challenges inside it, without barely breaking the surface. Right? It's barely making a ripple. You can move through your own emotions with ease now. There's nothing that's causing you too much fear anywhere, right? Because you know who you are, because you know what you're bringing to the table, you know? And there's a lot of movement in it. It's almost like it's understanding that you need to move forwards from a place of love, right? This is where Leos should always move from the heart, right? Always from the heart. And it seems like you're getting it, and it's finding its expression in the material world now, just in how you deal with all sorts of people. The other thing that came out in the meditation was what I was told was that big change. What did they say? Big changes. Oh, hang on. I've forgotten. Sorry. It was something along the lines of big changes can be brought by small acts of kindness. Thank you. That was by the smallest acts of kindness, right? We're moving forwards and only ever expressing our Leonine selves in these little acts of kindness, in these little things. Right? And then we've got the Two of Bows and the Stag, right? So Two of Wands and Strength again. More strength, which I really, really like, obviously. I mean, this is such a powerful card. Look at that. It's another two, just like the Two of Pentacles. It's got those two fucking bows on fire, right? Again. It's really powerful. There's just power all over this, and it's a fierce fire power, but it's finding its expression in these little acts of kindness, in these little displays of strength, you know, whatever they may be. You know, maybe you're dealing with people who aren't as evolved as you. Maybe they're just, you know, petty kind of thing. You're just like, I'm still going to be kind to you, because, you know, love is actually the only thing that is really real. Everything has a fucking vibration, and love has much better vibration than, you know, fierce roaring and anger. Do I want this deck? Oh, let me just check. Yeah, no, I do. That's fine. So, tell me about this Two of Bows. Because what the Two of Bows does talk about is making a decision about something, and this is in your present environment. Oh, okay. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. Now, there's a Sagittarius possibly knocking around in the mix here because that's a Sagittarian card. But if not, this is an alignment, right? And it's interesting that we're talking about kind of balancing and aligning and all that kind of thing, working out how we express ourselves, our big, fierce, huge, fiery selves in the 3D, in the material. And then we've got another card which speaks of a sign that also talks about balance and spiritual alchemy and all of those kind of things, as it does in the Temperance card. But this is also about alignment, right? And as I said, the Wheel of Fortune comes out when things are on an upswing, yes. But it does so because of the energy alignment that you have undergone, right? It's learning lessons. I must say that the Wheel of Fortune usually has, the 4 fixed signs depicted on it. And they're reading books on this one, right? It's learning lessons. It's incorporating all of those things that you've learned and taking them and carry them forwards. And when your energy is aligned, you naturally, as a byproduct, you just call things in that are good for you, right? Fired off down there. Knight of Pentacles. It's all Pentacles and Wands. There's fucking cards everywhere. Eesh. Wow. Ooh, I've just got goosebumps again. Oh, fucking hell. We've got the Page of Wands at the bottom of the deck now. Right? And that's about moving forwards with great excitement, right? It's a really sparky energy. It's knowing that there are things ahead of you. There is potential ahead of you and getting really fucking excited about what it is. It's like broadening horizons in a really, really big way. But it's got that almost childlike glee about how you progress forwards. Now, what we've got here is the Wheel of Fortune, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Magician. The Magician is all about energy alignment, but manifestation as well. It's like knowing what you want and bringing it the fuck in, right? Because you can, because you're powerful, because you're aligned, because your inner and outer selves are all resonating at the same frequency. Now, fucking hell. I feel the energy going off my hands at the moment. It's quite disconcerting. Then we've got this Knight of Pentacles here. Now, that's strictly Virgo, but it's movement, slow movement, yes. Well, it's Pentacles, just like the Two of Earth. It's slow movement in a particular direction, and maybe it's slightly frustrating, but I don't feel like it is. It's kind of like you've got to do things in a certain order, right? And you're prepared to do that. You're going to see it through to the end. And you're getting very clear about what you want to bring into the world, however that resonates with you. So I'm about this Knight of Pentacles, please. Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, like you worked out which fucking ones you need to put down, which ones you carry forwards. We got from burden to victory, right? It's understanding what's important, right? And for me, the Knight of Pentacles does know what's important. He's got that pentacle up in his hand, and he's taking the slow route, yes. But that pentacle's going to arrive completely intact, unscathed, unscratched, untarnished in any way, right? Because you worked out what's important and what's not. And you worked out how to align yourself in the best possible way with your energy and come forwards. You're just going to fucking, you're just fucking killing it, Leo. I love it. We've got, you see, the other thing that the Two of Wands talks about is a decision, right? For me, it's a kind of crossroads card. And I see that like you kind of churning over all the different directions that you could potentially go in and kind of following them in your mind to their logical conclusion and seeing if that's, those consequences are ones that you want to end up with, right? For the better or not, positive or negative. Kind of giving it some really good thought in a very astute manner. actually. But what we've got is the Six of Cups and the Star. Now, the Star is the card of Aquarius, and the Six of Cups for me is a card of the past in some way. So this can refer to children, it can refer to childhood, or it could just be what has been and gone in some description, right? It's definitely not now. It's some time ago. Sometimes it's my past lives card. Maybe you've got an Aquarius knocking around, from a previous life. That's possible. But there seems to be some sort of decision that you're kind of rolling around in your mind. Now, we don't have the Lovers down on there here, and we don't have Judgment. And those are two major arcana cards that I would associate very closely with needing to make a major life decision. This seems more like a rolling around of possibilities, right? Now, if it's not an Aquarius that you've got knocking around from your past, then the other way to see this is potentially that there's still a little bit of work to be done. And let's face it, the work never ends, right? It's a constant process of work on yourself and your inner being. There's still a little bit of work from things in the past that just needs bringing out, right? It needs looking at. And it's kind of like the process of examining yourself, self-examination, and working out, where you're restricting yourself, where you're holding yourself back. It's becoming easier and easier the more that you do it, and you can kind of plunge deeper and deeper, even revisiting old situations in your mind that you've been over time and time again, over and over again, you're coming back to. And it's like every time you go in, you can kind of cycle down a little bit deeper and get a greater knowledge of what's going on under there. Now, pulling that out and looking at it is just increasing the level of trust that you have in yourself and your abilities, right? It's creating a person who is strong and vulnerable at the same time, because that's a balance. You see, that's holding duality. Vulnerable and open keeps you receptive, right? And the strength allows you to deal with the difficult things, right? That is a balance that you are trying to hit. So maybe a little bit more thought into, your background personally. You can go over some other stuff and see if there's anything in there. Because something's coming in for you. And it's something that you are bringing about. We've got the Magician here. This is not a thing that you don't see coming. Like, this is something that you've paid some energetic currency for, in the intent that you've been setting out. Tell me about this Wheel of Fortune and the Magician. Eight of Pentacles, it is something that you've been working on. I mean, that could literally be physical work, right? Maybe that's your mind's been on your coin, and maybe that's really starting to come in. That's possible. But you've been putting energetic currency into it. Tell me about the Wheel of Fortune and the Magician. What is coming in for you? Ten of Pentacles. All right. Now, that is sometimes the inheritance card, yes, but not, 1/12 of the global population is not about to, receive life-changing amounts of money. But it's worth mentioning that it's there, right? It could be a new job, it could be a new house, it could be, something that you've been working on for a long time that's now finally starting to pay off. That's all possible. But the Ten of Pentacles for me it's kind of like that, an interesting snapshot where legacy and heritage kind of collide just for a split second. That's what that image says to me, because the legacy part of it is all the work that went in before. Lots and lots of work that went in before, to establish this. And then, the promise of abundance going forwards for generations potentially following you, right? It's about commitment, it's about stability, and it's both of those in the 3D, yes, but I mean, it can also be emotional, right? Because it's Pentacles, it's resources. It could be emotional resources, it can be physical resources. Take it as it resonates to you. But rather than it being a gift from the universe, like you might get with the ace, right? This is something that you've worked for, something that you've been pulling into yourself, and something that is going to find its expression in the material world very, very soon. Right? Love it. But again, there's been a sense that you are in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. You know, everything that you've learned before now, and everything that you intend to create going forwards, right, is kind of hitting at this spot and making this beautiful alignment for everything to just work for you. So, what you've got coming towards you in May is the Nine of Pentacles, and just, you know, I was really pleased to see this when it came out, but you know, there's pentacles all over this spread. It's material reward in some way, but the 9 speaks to me of somebody who is self-sufficient, someone who is independent, right? That's always brought in. You know, somebody who can pay their own bills, somebody who can live comfortably, you know, has all those things around them that they like. And let's face it, we Leos, we have really good taste, and unfortunately that tends to be slightly expensive, right? So we've got a taste for the finer things, and we can provide them for ourselves, right? Because this is a state of mind as much as anything else, right? There's no limitations with this, and that's why I really like this depiction of it, because this creature here is just shimmering, it's glowing, right? Its vibration is very fucking high, and it's like you're kind of attracting all of this stuff into you almost effortlessly, you know, whether or not you're focused on it. And I think to a degree, at least some of you have been focused on your material circumstances. Your vibration is such that you're just like a magnet for it at the moment, a beacon. And it's funny because this card seems to express that which you are trying to do in your current anyway, right? You see this Earth card, 3D card, balancing card. You know, we were talking about integrating this kind of new found power and spirituality into the fact that we have to knock around here, right? This is what we're trying to do. But this is the 9 of Pentacles. This is managing it, right? This is still shimmering and vibrating at a high level, you know, with all of that spiritual stuff. But because it's Earth and because it's Pentacles, right, it's bringing it into the 3D as well. Fucking magnificent. I love it. Now, then we have, to clarify that card, the 4 of Arrows, the Tower, the Wanderer, which is the Fool, and the 6 of Bows, which is the 6 of Wands. Again, right, second time it's come out for you in this spread. It is also a card of Leo as well, so it's a good card. It's a good card anyway, but obviously it's doubly good because it's Leo. So this one came out first, right? And there's a chap lying on the ground, and he's got 4 arrows in the ground around him, and he's kind of sleeping or something, certainly resting. And that's the key word on the card, is rest. But there's this massive fuck off butterfly. Right? Look at it. It's just huge. It's dominating the fucking picture. It's almost as big as he is, right? Massive. And butterflies for me are the most profound kind of symbol of transformation that there really is, I think. Because, you know, the butterfly goes from being a caterpillar to a butterfly, like the 2 completely different fucking animals, right? There's an evolution that happens on a 3D kind of, you know, time frame. And this caterpillar makes itself a cocoon, it dissolves itself into literally nothing. It's just a big goo, and then it kind of reconstructs itself into a butterfly. Like, that's magic as far as I'm concerned, right? It's going from a little kind of grubby like caterpillar thing to something that is very earthbound, right? Let us not forget, because the caterpillar can only crawl around on its legs on trees and all that sort of thing, to becoming something that can literally take off and fly, right? It's that transformation from being just a meat sack to being this really high spiritual creature that you are, but while still maintaining its 3D abilities, right? If you don't meditate, will you start, please, for me, because that's the key to everything. It really, really is. And you know, that finding that space, finding that peace, finding that stillness to allow the messages from source or the universe or whatever, from your highest self to come through to you, right? And you might see pictures, that's possible. You might hear things, but you might well feel things, right? And meditation allows you to separate what is you from what is coming in to you. And that's where magic is, right? That's where it is, right there. You are transforming, Leo, and it's amazing to behold. Now, the Blasted Oak, or the Tower, is the card of Scorpio for me. It can be Aries as well. Then we've got the Wanderer, which is definitely Aries for me. And then we've got this Leo card here. I'm going to pull one more because I'm interested about this Tower. I don't get any kind of negative feel from it at all. I mean, there's a chap falling out of a tree, right? And this tree's been struck by lightning, yes. And the man is on fire, but like I don't see that as a bad thing. I'm not seeing it as a bad thing. There he is, I'm falling out of the tree on Tower. Like, because what the Tower is it's a shock, it's a sudden event, right? It's something that you don't see coming often. And being as it's coming right next to this transformation card, I mean, it feels like if it's even possible, you're going to level up even more than you have been doing of late. But I just want to check. What about the Tower for Leo, please? What about the Tower for Leo? So we've got the Queen of Pentacles there and the King of Swords. That's interesting. A pair. Give me one more, please. One more for the Tower, please. Why is the Tower here for you? Ooh. We've got the Hanged Man at the bottom of the deck again, right? That's the second time it's made an appearance for you, followed by the Chariot, right? This is about changing your perspective on something. Woo! And then we've got the Ace of Wands and we've got Death underneath. Changing your perspective on something, which leads to an even stronger sense of self. And passion and transformation, right? Those are the shadow cards, that's what's underneath. So here we've got the card of Aquarius again. We've got this King of Swords, right? And we've got a Queen of Pentacles as well. Now the Queen of Pentacles is for me an archetype that talks about self-care, right? It talks about really taking care of yourself. But again, we've got this fucking shining, shimmering figure in the middle of you know, a kind of dark and dingy space, just like this, right? This is you shimmering, right? Kind of lighting up the world with who you are. And it's possible, because we've got the Five of Swords here as well, it's possible to read this because this Queen's sitting this way and this King is looking this way, and we've got this Five of Swords here in between them, sitting over the top, right? And for me, the Five of Swords is it can be a break in communication, or it can be a change in communication, right? Because fives deal with that energy shift, and it's swords, so it's words and thoughts and communications and stuff like this, right? If these cards had come out the other way around, like that, I would have said that this was you losing contact with someone that you've been speaking to, right? But because there's an aspect here of these two not paying attention to each other as they are, because they're pointing in different directions, when this five comes in, it's a shift, right, for the better, possibly, right? If this applies to you, if you're dealing with an Aquarius, right? It's almost like the energy shift is the resumption of conversation, right? And it's tied in with your leveling up, with your ascension, with your new spiritual vibration. You know, maybe you've owned some mistakes that you made about a situation. That's possible. Or it could just be, you know, the light that you are shining is kind of calling this person back to you. Now, if you don't have an Aquarius knocking around, in your environment. And I have to just say, it could be a man or a woman. Tarot doesn't give a shit about gender, right? It's my thing. Then there's a kind of everything that I just said about taking care of yourself and shimmering and bringing that bright light and everything still stands. But then we've got this King of Swords here who speaks about truth and honour and integrity and justice and the ability to make rational and reasonable decisions. Now, this has all come out under the Tower. And it feels like there's a possibility of you kind of stepping up to the plate. This is if you're not dealing with an Aquarius. Kind of stepping up to the plate and and leading, right, with the way that you think, with the way that you express yourself, potentially. Because the King of Swords is the pinnacle of the suit, and this suit is all about verbal and mental expression, right? Internal and external. It's about dealing with lots and lots of people as well. And kind of coming out from behind a rock, because that's how I would read the Five of Swords in this. Like you've kind of hid what you think and the way that you think for a little while. You're kind of hidden behind a rock and you're showing people what you thought was the acceptable face of your internal mental space, and I think you're just kind of sloughing that off now. And because you have faith and trust that you kind of got it right, that you're wise and you're experienced and you know what you're doing, right? You're smart as well. And then we've got the Fool and the Six of Wands, right? This is uncharted territory. This is taking a step forwards into, a life that you have not lived before, and doing it abundantly, doing it really, really well. And this Fool is actually, he's about to step onto a rainbow, right? And there's that sense of you being kind of guided to a particular path. You just follow your rainbow, one foot in front of the other. It doesn't matter that you don't know where you're going. It doesn't matter that you don't know why you're going there. Right? Just trust it. Just follow it, because ultimately it's going to bring you to abundance. Right? It's bringing you to yourself. I don't get a negative feeling off this Tower. I feel like it's more of a kind of epiphany of a whole new level of you that you are now able to experience, that you are now able to step into. This transformation is going to be quite profound. When you thought you'd already transformed over and over again, like more than anybody was possible of transforming, particularly in the last few years, you're going to take it up another level again, right? Because you are a limitless being. Just saying. Right, this is fascinating. I'm really, really interested in this. I'm going to do an extended, so if you're interested, the link will be in the description box below. But if this is where we part ways, then that's all cool. But May looks like a really good month for you. I really, really like it. And it's certainly promising a lot of abundance for you, which is amazing. So take care. And sorry the video was so long. Love you all. I'll see you soon.